All right. Welcome, everybody. How's everyone doing today? I know you're all muted, so that's probably a dumb question. Thanks for joining us on this beautiful but rainy Friday. We have a lot to get to, so let's just go. Let's get started. One quick note, each week we're having, Aaron, you're good with letting everyone in there? Just hit admit all. Each week we're having more and more folks outside of KW join, which is great. So just a heads up that we're going to do like 5 minutes of announcements, and then we'll get to the featured speakers, which are awesome today. So let me just share my screen here and we will get moving. Talk amongst yourselves while I always act like it's the first time I've ever shared a screen. Do you guys see my screen?
I see you.
You see me?
I don't see your screen yet.
You don't see my screen, so let me go back to the drawing board and share my screen again. How about now?
Now it's working.
We are going to present. All right, I'll get that nailed down eventually. So quickly, we want to just introduce or welcome a few agents. In our Ridgewood office, we have Cynthia and Jacqueline joining this week. In Valley, which is our Wycliffe Lake office, Sinai and Dina. In Rutherford, Francisco. And in City Views, Fort Lee, a bunch of agents joining. Gani, Nick, Ashkan, Joy, Juan, Risha, Brenda, and Ralph. So welcome, everybody. Everyone here is welcoming you, but they are on mute, so you cannot hear them. So again, just a few quick announcements. We have a financial wellness workshop coming up in Ridgewood on the 6th. I think Colleen Kossoff said she was going to unmute and say a couple quick words about that. Very quick words.
Yeah, I mean, we're always helping our clients, find their dream home and helping them with their finances. So this is more about our agents and somebody coming in and helping them, to perfect their finances. So please feel free to join us.
All right, awesome. Let's move on to what's going on at Valley Realty. We have a scripts and objections class coming up on the 7th with Michael and David. I think we have David here today to talk a little bit about that class briefly.
Hey, Al, can you hear me?
I can hear you. And
hey,
no
so
one
what I have to
take
say,
that voice, that deep voice. You don't even need to be on camera, and we know it's you.
Well, listen, thank you for the opportunity. I'm super excited to do this class with Mike. He is phenomenal when it comes to using scripts and objection handling. So what I want to tell every market center, come to the Wycliffe Lake office on February 7th at 11 a.m. And what we're going to do is talk to you about how to overcome the common objections you get on the phone and at an actual listing appointment. The thing I want everybody to understand is that when someone invites you out to their house to meet with them about selling their home, they believe you can help them. The minute you open your mouth, you're either going to win or lose the opportunity. Come learn what to say. Don't practice on your paycheck. Come practice with us so we can get you ready to get out there and get your business going. So see you Wednesday.
All right. That sounds great. Thank you.
Al, can I add one thing?
Yeah.
Oh, Mike's here. Go ahead, Mike. Let's go.
Excited to teach this class with David. Just want to let everyone from every market center know that it's open, so feel free to come and join us in the Valley. We'd love to have you here. David and I are going to be covering some things that are common and also a lot of things that you may not even heard yet. So we're really looking forward to this, and I think I know that your commission rates and your paychecks are going to be very thankful for what we have to offer.
Sounds great. And when you say open to all market centers, also open to all companies. So those of you lately, you've been getting about 20% of the people on these calls are from outside of Keller Williams. All of our classes are open to everyone all the time. So just show up or, contact any of your friends at KW or one of our team leaders, and you're always welcome. No strings attached. All right. We have another huge listing that is an office exclusive from the Stacy Esser team. So for those of you not in the Tenafly office and not with KW, pretend you didn't see this, but it is a $5 million listing. And then we also have a class coming up on multiple offers with Judith Agad and Ben Cooper. So that is on February 6th. And we'd like to welcome our new Assistant Market Center Administrator, Sebastian. He is, for those of you not with KW, doing something called transmittal, where we close the books at the end of the month. So I don't think he's on here to personally say hello. Are you?
I am on here. Hey,
You
everyone.
are? You did it all? You got it all done?
We're in
Awesome.
the process of doing it. We took a special break just so I could introduce myself. But hey, everyone. It's very nice to meet all of you. My name's Sebastian. I'm very happy to be part of the BCP team, helping all of you out. Joan's right here. So there he
Thank
is.
you,
So
Ron.
we're going
All
to be
right.
doing the transmittal in a bit, but very nice to meet everybody.
Welcome to the team. We're excited to have you. Heard nothing but great things so far.
Thank you.
All right. And the City Views team in Fort Lee wanted to point out, which is awesome. They have 23 active listings, over $1 million right now. Definitely KW is the luxury place to be. And we are also going to be hosting a listings, loans, and lawyers class coming up, which is pretty cool. And I think we have Justin on the line to talk for a minute about that as well.
Yeah, one of the great benefits of Keller Williams is all of the partners and resources that you have available. So we're going to have an interactive panel discussion with Esteban, who's our productivity coach, Mike Santana, who's our mortgage specialist, and Juan Moran, who's one of our preferred attorneys. So we're going to cover a wide range of topics, that will cover listings, loans, and lawyers. So feel free to come, ask questions, and it'll be really beneficial. I think everyone's going to get a lot out of it.
So which part are you, Justin? Are you the listings, the loans, or the lawyer?
I am just the moderator. I am
Moderator?
just the I got my cue cards and that's all I do.
All right,
But
cool.
these guys are great.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Justin. All right, and moving on to Rutherford. Brucelia is one of the top commercial agents in the state. He's actually out of our Fort Lee office, but like many of our agents, he's willing to go and teach and help folks in other offices. So he's going to be in the Rutherford office teaching his land development class. Are you on, Bruce?
Yep, that's me. Guys, land development's coming around BCP, along with some other courses as well that we've got designed. We're also expanding the coursework to be an 8-catalog course over the course of this year, so you guys will expand there alongside myself. I'm super excited and passionate about land development and what we can do as a KW community in terms of changing the lots that we have, those properties that are warranting infrastructure to be built for communities that are advancing. This is the class that I'm going to be teaching you guys, everything down from a single family lot, how to analyze it, how to find it, how to properly dissect it, what the zonings are, and then ultimately how to price it and sell it. And alongside, I'm going to be adding some tips and tricks as to how and who you want to go about the situation. So it's going to be fine-tuned, very specific. And as well, I'm very interactive. I'll answer direct questions on deals that you guys have live. I can analyze them very quickly. As long as we're efficient in the classroom, try to get through everybody throughout. So please, I encourage you to come, learn something, expand your mind, and from there, land development will be a nice resource and tool in your toolbox.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you for always being willing to go around and help agents in other offices. You're the best, Bruce.
Pleasure, guys.
All right, now for our main event. Let me stop sharing the screen so you can see these ladies live. So wanted to introduce you to Paula, Orly, and Cheryl. I think anybody who's been in real estate for at least 5 minutes knows these three ladies. But I wanted to give them a chance to just introduce themselves before we get into a little bit of a panel discussion.
So Orly Steinberg, I'm up in Ringwood in my beautiful Indy office. Thank you, Al. And I've been with KW for 3 years after a 34-year career with another agency. And I love what I do. I think I do it well. And this is my purpose and my passion.
Awesome. Paula?
So I too have been with KW for 3 great years. And in the business for over 25. Have a team of 10 total, 5 agents, and have a amazing director of operations, Katie. Everybody needs a Katie. I have Tara's our marketing director, and we have our transaction coordinator, Amy, and then a real estate assistant that joined our group over the summer, who was one of our clients' daughters, and she wanted to become a realtor. And so she's in training. So we have a great group, and we love what we do, and we love where we are. And thank you for having us.
Thanks for being here. All right. Cheryl?
I'm Cheryl Cooper. I'm with the Keller Williams Woodcliff Lake office. I am in my 27th year of real estate, 3 years with Keller Williams. And since joining Keller Williams, it's the first time in my 27-year career that I actually feel like I am growing. So I'm so happy to be here.
All right. Well, thank you for saying that. I think you've been growing. You've built a big business all along, but thank you for saying that. So let's jump into it. I think one thing we should point out is that the three of you are not on the same team. You're kind of like the three amigos, and you're always together and going to conferences, but you're actually run three separate, distinct businesses, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
And one of the things that I notice is that you're always going to conferences, you're always going to classes, which I find amazing, because you get agents that are new to the business a year or two, and they feel like they already know it all, and you guys have been doing this at such a high level for a long time. And I feel like maybe that's what, bonds, the three of you, is being so learning based. Can you talk a little bit about that, why you do that, how you do that, where you learn, and then a little bit about where you teach? I know a lot of you, what you also do is you go around and teach what you learn to other people.
Sure. So I've been going to school from the day I got my license. I've always been an education junkie. And in the days of cassettes, I used to get my monthly cassette from Star Power, interviewing a star in the country that was doing business at a high level. And I couldn't wait to get my cassette every month. And finally, my dream, and I know that Paula was sitting next to me at a NAR conference in Vegas where Tony Robbins was speaking. And he was asking us, what is your big audacious dream? And I wrote down, and I gave it to Paula. I said to be interviewed by Howard Britton at Star Power. And remember, Paula? And I was interviewed in 2008, Miss October, and have been going to seminars, conferences all over the country since the beginning of my career. I'm an education junkie, as I said, and we read voraciously. We share books. In fact, I met Paula at a CB conference in Florida, where I told her, listen to this guy, Howard Britton, and if you're smart, go to his conference in San Francisco this summer, if you're really serious about your career. And she took me up on it. We met in San Francisco and have been great friends ever since. So if you don't evolve, you dissolve. This business changes, technology changes, the economy changes. So no matter how much you think you know, it's always both back to basics and tweaking and growing.
You don't only read books, you know a little bit more than just about reading books, right?
Yes. So I
and
wrote
I'm asking you about that, but it just dawned on me. There it is. Give a little plug there.
There it is. So Mindset Reset for Real Estate Success, because I just love pouring back into my real estate community. And I learned a lot of lessons along the way, a lot of things I did right, some things I did wrong. And I learned from other people's mistakes. So learn from mine, learn from my wins, and it's an easy book to follow.
Awesome. Paula?
Gosh, if it wasn't for conferences and learning, I was such a sponge. And when I met Orly, it was really the start of my career. And I just couldn't get enough knowledge. I just loved it. I loved everything about it. And I remember, because I used to be crazy enough, I started on my own in actually right around September 11th. Even though I had my license for a long time, that's when I really started to say, you know what, I'm going to do this. And I remember my husband, Kevin, said, Paula, listen, because he had his own business, and he said, just sell one house a month. That's it. One house. And I said, I can't. Are you kidding? You're putting too much pressure on me. And because I really didn't believe in myself. And I think that, and he believed in me, and he knew that all I had to do was be put in the right place with the right knowledge. And Orly we were in the right place at the right time when we became friends. And I think that was like 2002. I just went to every conference, everything I could learn, everything I could read. To this day, that's I'm also learning based always. And I bring that to my team as well, where Katie actually every Thursday meets with the team to go over dialogue, to go over what we need to do with our clients, what's new. Fridays, today we just finished doing marketing together and reaching out to sellers. And then every Tuesday we have a meeting without fail. We're great. We have a great culture, but I bring that learning to them. So I coach, with a great coach, and I've been doing coaching for over 12 years with the same coach. And I've changed coach throughout the years, but I'm always learning something new, getting new pearls. What can I implement in my business? And so that's huge. And then meeting Cheryl, Cheryl was in the Coldwell Banker office. She came in from Bergdorf, and she was a partner with someone. And I always liked Cheryl, but she was in her lane. I was in mine. But she needed, once she started and broke away, she too, just like me, didn't have the confidence until she really saw that, I could do this on my own. And I think that it's scary at first, but, like me stepping out and saying, okay, I could do this. What's the first thing I need to know about meeting with a client and getting a listing? Just one thing. And that one thing, which I could share with you, is just being yourself and getting to know the person you're meeting. It's a relationship business. So I just started from there, and the rest is here we are.
Awesome. Thank you. Cheryl, anything you want to add there?
Sure. So one of the first things that I learned a long time when I started my friendship with Orly and Paula is that you are who you surround yourself with. And that was pretty much one of the first lessons that I learned and realized. So I met Paula first, and then through Paula, I met Orly. And I started going to conferences with Paula, and they had more faith in me in the beginning than I had with myself. I can share with you one night taking the red eye home from a conference, and the two of these women and my husband ganged up on me.
I remember.
So I cried all the way home, but they were right that I had to get a better grip on my business. And then it just evolved, and Orly became my coach. She was the first coach I ever had. She was my coach for 5 years, and she really put me on the path of where I need to be. And she really helped lay that groundwork, because coming into the business and trying to figure out what you need to do next can be so overwhelming that you get nothing done. So between Orly and Paula, they really helped me. I am forever grateful for them, and I am so happy that I'm their friend.
Love you.
Oh, that was sweet. All right, so we have so many questions that we want to get to with you guys. Initially, I'm looking at the clock. Initially, I'm calling on you one at a time, but maybe I'll throw them out there, and whoever feels like they want to answer it, all three of you can answer. If somebody wants to, has more to say about a topic. But I think, I say this every week. If I were joining this Zoom, the one thing I would want is to be able to come away with something tangible, that I can leave here and say, I was on with these, superstar agents, by the way, who combined did 178 million last year. What can I come away with that I can, get off the Zoom and go and implement that's going to help my business today? So if you each can think of what's one tangible, I want to hear about your mindset, which is even more important, but I want everybody to be able to say, I took a note and I have something that I can go out and implement. So, and if you like, we can break it down, and maybe one of you can pick, what would you say to a new agent that they could do? What would you say to somebody in our world that's called the capper, but somebody who's, an emerging star, but not yet. And then somebody who wants to someday be where you are, they're starting a team and they want to be a 50 or $100 million agent someday. What do they need to do? What's some advice you can give them? And I don't know if you want me to call on you, or one of you want to just chime in.
Go. Keller Williams, and I can say this because I always said to my other company that our education and training is probably junior high school level, and that's why I need to go around the country to get high school and college level training. And that's the one thing I've always admired about Keller Williams is all the training. I mean, just what you started off with in this Zoom call that's available in the next week. So I don't have to tell you what you can do to implement in your business. You hear that every morning on the pivot shift call, if you're on at 7:30 or 8 o'clock, you hear it throughout the day. You don't need the how-tos. You just need to do something. Commit to mastery. Mindset, and I'll get into that in a second. Skill set, practice the scripts, and action. Take action. I've got tons of notebooks from every conference I've gone to, every Zoom call I listened to. I happen to not be able to go to family reunion this year, and I promised myself to pull down some of those notebooks and implement the ideas that I've had there, because I don't need any more ideas. I just need to implement the ones that I wrote down that I haven't gotten to yet. So it starts with mindset. And for me, it starts first thing in the morning. Anybody that knows me well and has read my book knows that I get up very early. I get on the treadmill. The first thing I do is I listen to a podcast or an audio book to start grounding my day with something positive. Then I write
I sent my check in for the signed copy and I still haven't gotten it. I paid the money for the signed copy, but it hasn't arrived yet.
You'll get it this next week, I promise. I'll get you the signed copy. So second, it's my affirmations and my gratitude journal. And I love the 5-minute journal. It literally takes 5 minutes and it ends with 2 questions before you go to bed. And then I email my close tribe, these 2 women included, with my wins, because we used to do our affirmations and the day sounded like, oh my God, you accomplished all of this. No, that was my affirmation. It was what I wanted to accomplish. And then we changed it last January after reading the book, The Gap and the Gain, to what were our wins the day before and what are our wins today. And then we email it to each other for accountability. Then I get on the pivot shift call at 7:30, 8 o'clock, and then I have a 4-minute commute to the office. So by 8:30, I've already got my mind, body, and soul ready for the day. And for all of you, I know I preach this all the time. Do me a favor, do yourself a favor, get out of your pajamas, get dressed, put on some makeup if you need to, and get into the office. Stop fooling yourselves that when you're working from home, you are as productive. Don't tell me you're not putting in a load of laundry and then taking a break to put it in the spin cycle. So this is a job. This is a 9-to-5 job, not a part-time. I'll do it in between and cross my fingers and hope that I have a good business. And I'm sorry to be preaching it that way, but I hear too many agents making excuses about why not, where just implement and take action. Become ubiquitous. Start branding yourself. I did mailings. I've done up to 12,000 mailings a month. Local billboards, my newsletter, calling. I just called. This is my pink sheet. This is my intake sheet for CMAs. I called way back to 2008, people who still haven't listed their houses. So I've got about 6 binders here that I just go through every single day, and I do my 10-10-10. My 10-10-10 is 10 VIP past client calls, 10 past CMA calls, and 10 note cards. So I do my anniversary cards every single month. I'm actually up to March because I like to stay a month or 2 ahead of myself.
When you say calls, do you text count as a call, or these are, physically picking up the phone and calling people, 10 people?
Physically picking up the phone. And this week I've had a lot of good luck in actually connecting with people, wishing them Happy New Year. We haven't spoken in a while. A while could have been 10 years, guys, but they don't know what that while is. Just wanted to wish you Happy New Year, let you know how much more equity you have now. Let's talk about what your future looks like. I just spoke to somebody that was going to move, decided not to because the kids and the grandchildren are kind of embedded here. However, the children are moving back from Texas and their in-laws are moving here from Tennessee. Guess what 2 referrals I just got? So make the calls, go 3 deep, make the connections, be ubiquitous. But this is a job, guys, where you have to be there every day and take action.
I'm supposed to be asking you things to help the agents, but actually you made me think of something where maybe you can help me. I love what you're saying about, attending the classes and all that stuff. And, I always feel great when I'm in the market center and I see a great class, and there's top agents there. And then I think the top agents are finding the time to come here. And now I'm not talking about agents that are, part-time. If they have another job, I understand why they wouldn't be there. But there are a lot of agents who are, say that they are full-time, but they say they don't have time, for these classes. There's some quote that it's something like, the person who chooses not to read has no advantage over somebody who doesn't even know how to read. So we have all this great stuff, but it doesn't help anybody if they don't go to it. So how do we, help our agents and get them to take advantage of training, whether it's KW training or any other training, just so they get better? Because we don't seem to, if we have 1,600 agents, there maybe is, a few hundred that attend training regularly and the rest don't, and they would benefit. What can we do to encourage people to attend more?
I hate to tell you this, but there's nothing you can do. It's like I say to my clients and my children, you have to want it for yourself more than I want it for you.
Okay.
If you don't want it for yourself, I can't spoon feed you the training. And if you're not going to the training, guys, frankly, you're not serious about your business, because Cheryl and Paula and I go to the local trainings. When I first started at KW, I went on every single training, and the productivity coach would look at me and go, "What are you doing in this class? You could teach it." I said, "Because it's all about basics." Maybe I forgot something about the basics. I needed a jump start. It's been a challenging market in the last 3 years.
So for you, if we want to drill it down, maybe the tangible piece is maybe that 10-10-10 system. Paula, do you have something specific that you would recommend that agents could go out and do today that would have a positive impact on their business?
There is so much business out there to be had, so much. And so I think you have to sit down like at the beginning of the year, right? Way before the beginning of the year. December is when I'm planning for my 2024 is when, or the next year after that. You have to say, okay, what is my goal? What do I want to accomplish this year? What do I have to do to get it? There are so much business out there to be had. What are you going to do to get it? Now, I know when Orly just spoke, it sounds like so much, right? So you have to break it down in pieces and at least have, write down, like I have a schedule. And I think that us being in this business, we think, oh, this is great. I can make my own hours. I can do it with what I want. And by the time you reach the end of the day, it's like, what have I done today? What have I done? So like Orly, when she starts out with her affirmations and the wins, I do the same thing. And I have exactly in my schedule what I'm going to do that day, built around the appointments that I have. If I have to switch because I got an appointment, well, then I will still do that prospecting, because prospecting is where it's at. And you may prospect any old way you do. You could make calls, you can text and call. You can send an email, send a letter, reach out. There's so many people out there that have no idea what is happening in our market right now. I sent out a letter to someone saying, did you know that your home, I was looking in your neighborhood, did you know your home was worth X? And you know what? She called me back and she said, I had no idea. I had no idea. They had no idea. I heard someone say to me, oh, I heard the market's awful. The interest rates are so high. I said, but did you hear they're coming down? They don't hear that part. So I think it's our job to educate everyone, and so that they know that you are the person that is, the person that knows her business, that knows what's happening, because people come to you because you give them value, and then they're going to come to you and they're going to want to list or sell with you because you know.
Makes sense. Makes complete sense. Thank you for that, Paula. Cheryl, did you have anything tangible, specific, either for a new agent, budding superstore, or somebody that wants to build a big business like you have?
So that's what I was thinking. So for people who are just starting out in the business, or maybe do not have those 10 past CMAs because they haven't done them yet, or there's so many things that you can take advantage of. So everybody, you know to add into your database and touch your database, but you may not have that big database that maybe we have. I would say take as many classes as you can, do a deep dive into Command, do a deep dive into one of the classes of the many classes that Keller Williams offers, because that will get your brain thinking. And I can't tell you, I'm actually doing a class on the 13th about using your experiences for your mindset. I was able to do that because I learned something in my personal life that was so life-changing from the classes that I took that absolutely had nothing to do with real estate, but it all ties together. So if you're really willing to learn, I think that going to the classes or taking the classes or doing a webinar, get on, make sure it's in your schedule and just do it. And I promise you, your brain will then say, oh, I forgot that I didn't get in touch with my dry cleaner, and I heard that he's selling the business and he might have a house to sell, whatever it is. So just become learning based. So if you don't have all those people in your database, there's so many other things that you can do during the day. So when you put your head on the pillow at night, you can say to yourself, I did everything I could to improve my business. And this year I said to my husband, I'm not coming home unless I have a listing appointment or a new buyer. So you may not see me until very late at night.
Or Friday.
Or Friday.
I'm teasing. I just want to say one thing. I learned in real estate that real estate is like a Chinese menu. You don't have to do all of the prospecting things because it's overwhelming. They're coming at you like a fire hydrant. Just take 3. You can pick 1 from column A, 2 from column B. If you're good at open houses, that should be one of your prospecting lanes. Do one every Saturday and Sunday. Doesn't cost you anything. There's other agents, including myself. I've got 3 open houses going this weekend, and I still took another agent to do one on Saturday. So, top agents need people to do open houses for them. Pick your lane, pick 3 things that you think you're good at, do them consistently and persistently.
We did have one question. Second favorite question. Sorry, my second favorite question, or what I would want to hear the answer to if I were on this Zoom, would be, arguably the most important thing, or really there's no argument in my opinion, in real estate is lead generation. So what's your number one source? We won't have time to go into them all, but what's your number one source? How do you implement it? And would that be the source that you would recommend to the typical agent? Or, if what you're doing is maybe too advanced or different? So it would be, what are you doing, and or what would you recommend that the typical, agent that's on the Zoom that's been in the business a few years, but, is not super sophisticated yet?
So I'd like to speak to that, because when I started out in the business and there wasn't a lot of money to market and to pay for postcards and postage and all of that, I would just print out a simple sheet of paper and write a note and send it to different properties that, I'm a realtor, I'm your neighbor, let's say, and if you're thinking of selling, whatever you say, because you could now use ChatGPT to formulate a letter for you and send it out to your neighbors. I mean, if you're starting out, that would be the easiest way to do it. And as you get better and better and better, I used to love having selling homes on busy roads, because now your sign's there and people see it and they're like, oh, I see you everywhere. So then after a while you get branded, and I would always, reach out, do video, whatever it took. I was always on the cutting edge of what people weren't willing to do, I was willing to do. So I think starting out with no money, you could just write letters, knock on doors, whatever it is. You're going to a supermarket, hey, how are you? Network that way. Go to as many networking things as you can. That's how I would start. And then as you get more and more busy, then you could start with postcards. People are reading postcards again. If for a while postcards weren't working. So you have to also track to see, is it working? Where's your lead? Where are your leads coming from? So that's my take.
So if you were going to boil it down to just something specific, though, if I got all, I was a new agent and I needed to generate business, I clicked, the lead button, and I was going to go do something today, what would be a system or something they should start doing that would generate business for them, being as specific as you can?
Look at neighborhoods that you want to sell homes in.
Door
And,
knock. Door
and
knock. You
one
don't-
by one. I mean, come on, you won't door knock. I won't door knock, but
Yeah, I'm
somebody
not
new
door knock.
might want to,
I'll
but
door
if you
knock.
don't, right. But you know what? Then get those doorknob things and put them on the doors. Or when you have an open house, you should be circling that neighborhood and inviting people to the open house that are neighbors. You love when those nosy neighbors come into your open houses. Those are prospective sellers. I did as many open houses that I could when I started. That's all I did. Every weekend, somebody asked, I was there. No matter what house it was, that's how I got started, open houses. And now open houses are back again. People are coming there, they're meeting you, and sellers are going to those open houses because they want to interview you.
Agreed. Agreed.
I will add that I met with Josue last year, and he really,
Josue is our team leader in Fort Lee. It's for those of you who don't know him.
Yeah, so sometimes we get so busy in our head that we forget to stop and actually communicate with people and really go and find out how they are and really ask them questions and get to know them. So if you don't have an open house to do, if you're a new agent, go to your friends. Do you really know your friends? Have you really asked them questions, or their parents, whoever you meet? Be curious about them, because you'll attract people to you, and they're going to automatically ask you, say, well, what do you do for, oh, I do this. And they're going to say, well, what do you do? Right. So then they're going to get to know you. So this is a people business. So I am so grateful that I met Josue last year, because I was forgetting that in my business. And since I actually implemented, like, just taking a breath and just stopping and talking to people, I've got a few referrals now just from doing that, just from listening.
That's awesome. All right. What about,
One more thing. Let me just add one more thing. Networking with other realtors, wherever they are. And I remember I would just look at most successful realtor, and I just modeled everything that person did. I watched her. I pretty much stalked her at the time. She's not
before you said her, I thought it was me that you were modeling.
I didn't know you then when I started. I didn't know you, Al. But
Okay.
When I started knowing you, you weren't selling real estate. But I just remember listening. We did uptime back then. And if any uptime, I tried to take every single uptime there was. But there was an office where someone was right there. It was a group, two people. And I listened, I watched, I did exactly what they did. And then I realized, wow, this is really not that hard. And I think I could do it better. And so I just went off of that. So I
did the same thing. And that's another great reason to come into the office,
Yes.
to make your calls and listen to what the top agents are saying. I mean, I open up my office to my team and anybody else who wants. My door is open. I'm on the phone. Come listen to what we say.
My boss has her hand up, so she'll kill me if I don't let her ask a question. Colleen?
Mute myself. So I've not shared an office with, Paula had a mega agent office and Orly has a mega agent office, but I have been in the office with Cheryl for years. And just want to ask Cheryl, how much time you spend a day on the phone lead generating? I know that answer.
Minimally 2 hours. Minimally 2 hours. And if I don't have appointments, then I have, if it's not dollar productive, then there's no sense in doing it unless I have to get my nails done.
She's
great point.
dedicated lead generator.
If you're not out there making the calls, doing, getting in front of people, you're not really working, or at least doing it digitally. I guess these days you can do it on social media, and as long as you're purposeful about it. And that brings me to and if you don't have to answer this. Do any of you have a unique or effective social media strategy that's helping you develop business that you would be willing to share?
Sure. So I have a plan. It's the same. It's again, consistency. You've all seen my Monday morning market update. So Mondays are the market update. Tuesday, I'm usually on a photo shoot for a new listing. So that's the second video on a Tuesday. If I have another one Wednesday, that's Wednesday. If I don't have one, I take an idea from the KCM or something I've read, and I'll do a little 1-minute video on that topic. And then I have
KCM.
KCM, Keeping Current Matters. It's a subscription for like $29 a month. They send you emails every single day with different topics of what's going on in real estate, interest rates, whatever. So it just kind of gets me
Erin,
thinking.
can you Google that and throw that link in the chat?
KCM, somebody else do that. I delegate everything else. Sorry.
I was asking Erin.
But on
Working
that note, Al, KCM is like any other platform that gives you updates on what's happening in the market. And all you're doing is taking information from a topic of what's happening in the market, and then you write your notes down and do a video on that.
Right. In fact, they have a sophisticated system where you could actually have a teleprompter and you can videotape it right there, but I can pretty much talk for a minute off the cuff, just based on that idea. And then I have my mortgage guy come in next week. We're doing 5 videos in an hour. So I'll have 5 weeks worth of the Mortgage Minute. That's the plan. It's a simple plan.
And also, when you're doing social media, don't make it all real estate. They want to see who you are, right? I did a stupid video of lip syncing to some song in my car because I was having a good time that day. I had more hits on that than I did talking about real estate. They want to know who you are. Everybody thinks that they have, their hair has to be perfect, their makeup has to be perfect. Your shirts have got to be ironed. It doesn't matter. They want to know who you are.
Agreed.
But,
I have 400 people following me. I have 400 people following me on vacation. So when I'm on vacation, I've got 400 or 500 people following me. I had 700 likes when my granddaughter was born 3 weeks ago. So people bump into me in the Stop and Shop, in the parking lot. Congratulations on your granddaughter. Oh, I saw that you're back from Israel. Let them see who you are, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Those that like you will relate to you and work with you. And those that don't, who cares?
Right.
Makes sense. So let me ask you guys this. Do you feel like you're all immensely successful? Do you feel like more of your success is because you have these unique, distinct, different things, creative things that you're doing that no one else is doing? Or is it that you're just doing the basic things that mostly everybody already knows about, but just doing them consistently and doing more of them, or a mixture of the two? Because I find a lot of people are always looking for that silver bullet. Is there this new whiz bang, thing, social media, or some great place to buy leads, and that's going to solve my problem? And the more I have these Zooms, it's just people are talking about open houses and making phone calls and sending postcards. And it's stuff that was, we were talking about, the day I got my license, So is it more of just doing the standard stuff and doing it well? Or do you have some secrets? And if you do, can you share them?
The secret is there is no magic wand. There is absolutely nothing that has been invented that is going to be the magic pill. It's about creating systems, being consistent, find what your genius is, and just be persistent and consistent. It's mundane, it's boring, but it's not boring when you get those come list me calls. It's not boring, when you negotiate 3 offers in 1 week in bidding wars. I mean, I call it going fishing. I go fishing for listings. I wrangle one, I reel them in, put it on the market. Next week it's sold. I love going fishing.
Tara reminded me, Tara's my marketing director, and she's on top of it. And she reminded me that repeat business, if you look at the MLS to see how many agents do not do repeat business, and you can see that when they sold it, did they list with that person? Well, if you don't get the listing the next time around, then shame on you, because we keep in touch with our clients. We value them. We get referrals from them because we are talking to them. We are giving them value. We give them a pie every year. We call them to see how they are. If they're not feeling well, we send them a sympathy card. Like Orly said, she's congratulating them on the sale of their home for now it's a year, 2 years, 10 years. So, and then when you have your client, customer care and how you treat them. And don't forget about them when they when you're done, when you have that closing.
That reminds me, everybody knows this. I don't know what the number is, but you always hear that stat that it's some crazy percentage of, people who did a transaction with an agent, when they go to do their next transaction, something like 70% of them would have worked with that agent again, but they just never heard from them again. I mean, that just seems like the most money left on the table. If somebody already knows you, likes you, is willing to do business with you, and all you have to do is keep in touch with them over the years, why would you let that go? But it's exactly what you're saying. You go and you look and you're like, well, they didn't use the agent that they used 4 years ago for some reason,
Well, that brings you to systems, Al, also, because people don't have systems and they don't, you have to really be very clear on when you're contacting them, who you're contacting, your CRM you're using, how you're doing it, what plan we have. You asked about social media and marketing. Tara did. We have a plan for the whole year. We know exactly what's happening month to month for the entire 2024 year.
Let me ask you this. If I don't want to sign you guys up for this, but if there are agents, here and they're hearing all this great stuff and they want more information about this, can they just pick up the phone and call you, or what's the best way to contact you guys and ask you questions and advice?
That's to send an email.
Email?
To
Okay.
mine is Paula at thepaulaclarkgroup.com. You can find it anywhere, and I'd be happy to help you.
And are any of you looking to grow your team? If somebody's like watches this and they're saying, man, I would love to work with one of these ladies, or any of you hiring?
So if you're hungry, humble, and smart, driven, a hard worker, I am looking to expand my team, and I'm really looking for a listing partner, which is a very exclusive and difficult position to fill, because you've got a 1-hour opportunity to go on a listing appointment, like an interview, and nail it.
I'm not applying again for that position. You've turned me down 3 years in a row, so I quit.
I am looking for a buyer's agent, and I am actually looking for somebody who is learning based, who really wants to make money and connect with people, and is really good at follow up, and somebody who has our culture.
That's
So
huge.
There's a few hundred of you on here. I mean, if you're not a huge agent already in your own right and you want to learn this business and you want to learn it the right way, I mean, you guys should be getting 20 applications. I know there are people on this call right now that are struggling and they don't know what to do. No better way than join one of these teams. So we're going to open it up to questions from agents, but I want to circle back to kind of the flip side of how I started, which is the three of you being so learning based, which I really admire. And I think that's awesome. And to be that learning base, you have to have a great mindset. And all three of you are always so, happy, positive, energetic. Like what do you do to maintain that mindset? To me, that's almost more important. You could know all the systems in the world, but if you wake up and you're just not motivated and you're in a bad mood or you have a negative mindset, you could know everything, but you're not going to implement it. So especially over the long haul, you've kept great mindsets and been, positive and productive year after year after year. How do you do that? And what specific advice could you give to people to improve their mindset and maintain it?
That's a great question. I actually do a presentation for other offices about my book, and I have a whole list in one of the slide decks of all the tools that you can use to get out of a funky day. One of them is like that game show, Phone a Friend. I mean, I can call Paula because nobody in my market area is going to feel sorry for only Orly. And there's nobody you can cry to. You can't go to your team because you've got to hold them up. You can't go to your clients, obviously. So you phone a friend and you just say, listen, I'm having a really poopy day and I'm just not feeling it. And you talk it out. Gratitude journal. Sometimes, you've had days where 3 deals just fell apart, one after the other. Retail therapy, leave the office. It's a bad day. Just leave the office, come back tomorrow and start all over again. Go for a massage. Treat yourself at the end of the day. If, I tell myself sometimes I'm not in the mood to make these calls, but if I just do 2 hours and I'm done, let me get myself flowers. Let me go to my pottery class. Like, what's waiting for me as a reward at the end of the day after doing something I really didn't feel like doing that day. So there's a list of tools that I give myself. I go outside sometimes and just take a walk. When I'm in my car and listening to music, it fills me up. So I go somewhere to deliver something or whatever, just get out of the office for a little bit, come back refreshed. So there's a myriad of things that you can do, but do something to get yourself out of that funk. We don't wake up, supercharged every day. We're human.
Also, I would say that, because we have our work life and we have our home life, and Orly has a great, and I always say this word wrong, I don't know why, compartmentalize, right? What's going on. So it's like, I leave my home stuff at home. There's nothing I can do about something that's happening over here in the moment. So it's just saying, like, that's there, I'm here, and this is what I have to do. So I have to put those little things that need attention at home in that box, and I'll open up that box when I get home, and then I'll deal with it. So I try not to bring my home life into the office. So for me, that's just very important.
Even more than that, I tell my team, I don't care what happened at home. You walk in that door, it's showtime. Your clients don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it right now. I'll take you aside and lift you up when we need to. But you walk in that door and it's showtime. I hear agents talking about their divorces, what's going on in their lives. You're there for them. It's like going to your therapist and your therapist crying to you. Doesn't work that way. It's showtime.
Exactly.
That makes sense. So, all right, this will probably be my last question, and then we'll open it up. I think a lot of times, and I'm, definitely somebody who's thought like this. You look at somebody, I'm an agent, either new agent or pretty successful agent, and they look at you guys and they're like, how do you fit it all? I don't have the time in the day to do everything that they do. Like, what does a day look like for you? Because I think people are thinking there's just no way to get it all done. Like, how do you fit it in? They're never going to be able to do all the activities that it takes to get where you are. So, to the extent, one or all of you, like, what is a typical day? Like, what time do you wake up? What do you do in terms of lead generation and, doing things to take care of yourself? Do you make time to exercise or read a book or, what do you do on a typical day?
So it starts at 6:15 for me, as I said, treadmill, mindset, calls, 8:30, 9 o'clock. I've already responded to emails. I'm now starting to prospect. My afternoons are for listing appointments, so I don't get distracted. And my first question when it's a listing appointment, are you available during the week, during the day? Take control of your time. I rarely work on weekends. I happen to have 2 listing appointments this weekend, tomorrow morning, because they couldn't do it any other time, but that's the unusual part of it. But look, I have a team and I have leverage, but you don't. So it's baby steps. It's baby steps. Focus on the 20%. What's the most important dollar productive activity that you can do today without allowing the minutia of the busyness work to distract you? And sometimes we welcome that busy work because we don't want to do our lead gen. So be honest with yourself. Are you listing a home, showing a home, negotiating a home, or prospecting? Those are the 4 dollar productive activities. If you're not doing one of those 4 activities, you're bullshitting yourself to thinking that you're busy, and why aren't you making any money?
Mm-hmm.
And that goes across every, sales related or recruiting type job. Like, the joke that I always make with the team leaders is, putting up bold streamers, like you want them either, consulting with our top agents or recruiting or teaching a class. And if you walk in to the office and they're making photocopies or hanging up decorations, that can be an avoidance of doing the hard thing of having to pick up the phone and call real estate agents at other companies that don't want to talk to you, so, and for agents, it's the same thing that, sometimes I've seen agents, they get a deal and they baby it so much and they do, they spend so much time on it. They're never going to get a second deal, but it's it's not that they need to do that. It's much more comfortable to focus on that one deal, all the minutia, than to have to go out and pick up the phone and meet somebody that you don't know and try to talk them into doing business with you. So, I love that you said that.
If
But
I
I
can just
think
say one
that if
thing,
you have systems in place, that you don't have to play with the files because you know what has to get done and you check those off the list. And then you focus on what matters, which are dollar productive activities. And then you'll have more time for yourself. So we go home early and have a great night. And I don't work weekends now, right? And so unless it's really,
Right.
it has to be, they really can't
Well,
do
you
it.
don't, because your husband Kevin works all weekend, so that doesn't.
He really
you know,
does.
you can have a business that goes up and down because, as Al said, you're focusing on that commission check that you just did and you're babying it because it feels good, but then it closes and you're back to square one. Or you can build a consistent, predictable business like Paula, who wanted one deal a month. That was my first goal. I just wanted to know that I was eating every month. If I can eat every month, then I built a predictable, consistent business as opposed to one that was not predictable and not sustainable.
But let me make one thing, so you probably think, oh my God, she doesn't work. Because I do love this business so much, when I say I'm not working, I'm probably working because I am on my phones. I'm not off the grid. Even when I go on vacation, I do check my emails and whatever. But I have I'm very, very blessed to have an amazing team and director of operations. And she'll remind me, that's my job. You don't do that, and then
Okay.
she says, go. And then I do what I have to do. But I am on, and if you need to reach me during the week or if I have to negotiate something, yes, I am working. I just mean I'm not going on appointments.
Got it. That makes sense.
I will just add to that for people who don't have all the support that some of us have, you do have support. It's in your phone. Hey Siri, block 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for lead gen. And they'll remind you should be lead genning, right? So if you don't have that, your assistant's in your phone. So if you time block and just say nothing, if an earthquake happens and the building's not coming down, I'm still making my calls. So nothing should get in the way of that. So, and then if you're starting to really grow a little bit in the business, there's virtual assistants that can help you take some of those things off your plate. I just hired a virtual assistant, and in the beginning it was because you have to put the time in, you have to train them. And that is, I don't have great patience for that, but I did this time and it's finally working. So you do have assistants. They're in your phone, they're virtual assistants. And as Al said, you could reach out to any of us just to ask, how do you do this? Who should I look at? Who should I call? We're happy to help.
Awesome. We are coming up on 3:00. Do you guys have time to go a little bit over for a couple questions from
Absolutely.
attendee? It looks like Odalis has raised her hand.
Hi guys. I don't know how to lower my
Hi,
hand. Can you guys hear me?
congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. So I just had a quick question. I was just writing some notes and I kind of wanted to know if you guys all could just list. I know that you said you each said who's on your team. And I just wanted to clarify. You said director of operations, director of marketing, and admin, and a buyer's agent, and anything else?
Well, I have a transaction coordinator who deals with all the numbers, the certificate of occupancies, anything that has to get done to have the deal close and make sure that everything is on task to the closing. And then the director of operations oversees my whole team, manages all of that and delegates to the right person. A real estate assistant comes in and does all the other minutia that they don't want to do. The director of marketing, she's the one that plans all the media, all the EDDM postcards that go out. She gets the listing marketing ready for every listing. And then I have 5 agents that work with buyers and I only list.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right, Aaron, do you have anybody from the chat and
Yes.
reading it off, see if they can unmute so it's more interactive?
So Mary Margaret had a question earlier. Are you still on, Mary Margaret? I feel like the ladies may have answered it though, because it was about schedule.
Well, look at it to answer what our schedule looks like.
That was, she said, what is, I don't know if she's still on to unmute, but she said, what does your daily and weekly schedule look like?
It's basically get up, make sure that we do our affirmations, our wins, we read or listen to something, we exercise, we look at our day, we come in. If we don't have an appointment, we're prospecting.
Yep.
Meet with the team, we go over everything that has to get done, or I get anything on contract. My DO tells me, everything that's happening and what she has to do and who she has to call. And then I'm on the phones and reaching out and networking and going on appointments. That's
I'm going to reiterate about coming into the office. I cannot tell you enough how important it is to get up, get out of your house and come into the office and work. And like all of us said, you will hear things that you will pick up on. You will feel more motivated because you're around an environment that is doing the work. And it's like FOMO. We never want to be left out. So we're going to just do what everybody else is doing and do your job. So I cannot stress how important it is to come into the office. And I can't work from home. I just, most agents, by the way, have ADD. And so I can be like, oh, there's a shiny flower over there. Let me just get up and look at that. I can't work from home. I am more motivated knowing that I'm getting up and getting dressed and coming into the office.
My team, I will say this, they weren't coming in the office every day. I had one or two that were coming in. And so we started to make it almost mandatory because you really can't, but Katie would start having classes that they wanted to come in for. Once they started coming in and saw the value and how the camaraderie and having lunch together, and they became more productive. And if you look at statistics where people that come into the office versus people that work from home, they have a much better success rate.
Mm-hmm.
There is a correlation.
It's like actually you're talking to me when you say that people that work from home aren't that successful. I see what you're doing, Paula.
But I think here at home. I think the ratio I heard
distracted in the office, Al. You're an exception.
Is when you come into the office, you'll do 25% more business.
I totally agree. I mean, just the energy is different, and you just by accident you bump into people. You read books. Google builds their their kitchens. Where you're going to get food, so that they have narrowing areas, so that people kind of have to like bump into each other, literally physically, so that they have to have a human interaction. Bars even have something called, has nothing to do with business, but I forget what they call them, bump rails. But sometimes you see those like rails in a bar, and it's like they want to funnel people in so that they get tightly packed in, so that it forces you to have a conversation. So we're not doing any of that stuff, but it just shows you there's science behind it. Going in, interacting with other people, is healthy. It's going to energize you, and you're going to learn something, especially if you bump into one of these three ladies in the office. So we're definitely over time. I would love, as we, kind of sign off, is there one nugget would you share, whether it's a book that people should read, or a piece of advice, a quote, a philosophy, a system you're using, just, anything, something you haven't covered, just one more little bonus that you could give us before we sign off?
So 2 books. One is mine.
I put that link is in the chat.
The other one is Ninja Selling. But, to make you feel good about this market with low inventory, what I keep reminding myself all the time is when life happens, real estate happens. People are dying, people are getting divorced, people are getting married, they're having babies. So to Paula's point before, there's a lot of business out there because life is always happening. So just go out and get your unfair share.
Love it. Cheryl?
I will just say that the thing that you need to do is get in the office, go to meetings. Paula, you're doing a talk in Keller Williams Valley, right, on the 12th for Time and Ties, Mastering Your Calendar and Emulating Success. So Paul is teaching that at 10 a.m. on Monday the 12th. I'm teaching the 13th, your experience to sharpen your mindset. And I promise you, you will get something out of that also. I hope your offices do this, but we get a whole calendar of everything that is available to us just through Keller Williams. I'm telling you, just please make the time, come in the office and take the classes.
I love all the KW plugs. I just want everyone to know I didn't talk to you guys at all about saying that. It's almost like,
No.
you know,
Well,
over the
I can tell you this, and this is not a
that we
plug.
do this to plug KW. We're really doing this just to help everybody learn and get better at real estate. And it's just a coincidence that these ladies, you know, have gotten a lot out of KW and love KW. We'll have people on here from all different companies. We're just here to help people, you know, build a better business and a better life.
And if you're not with KW,
Those
feel
of
free
you
to
that-
call me as well.
For all of you on this call that don't even know this, all of us came from Coldwell Banker and we were with them for over 20 years. And really honestly, you don't have to make me say anything because I wouldn't. And Orly is even more than that.
I can't make you guys do anything. I know that.
Can't make us do anything. And so, and when there's bullshit, we call it. However, there's so much here. There's so much to learn. And you know what? The biggest thing about, and a good agent is kind. A good agent shares. A good agent isn't afraid that someone is going to take business away from them. They're not afraid of that. They want to share. They want to be kind and helpful. And that's, I think, where we are all very similar. The three of us, we have an amazing tribe of other great friends from all over the United States that we learn with. And that's the mindset you need to have. That's my opinion.
All right. Thank you for that. Well, I think the very last thing is Ira said, it's moving on me, that someone had their hand up. I think it was Phyllis. Is Phyllis still on?
Yes, I'm still here.
What's that?
I'm still here.
All right. Did you have a question, Phyllis?
Yes, I did. I wanted to ask the ladies. This has me with chills. I am so moved by everything that each of you all said. I had to get up off the floor. I wanted to know, what advice would you give? You know, when a lot of agents come to the office, they get distracted by agents that are not doing anything. And one of the complaints when I'm talking to agents, well, I don't really want to come to the office because I can't really focus. I get distracted by somebody that's just hanging out. So what advice would you give to agents that are experiencing that issue of other agents that are distracting them and that are keeping them from doing what they should be doing when they don't have a private office and they're in the communal spaces?
I know what you're saying. You just have to tell Randy Douglas that you don't have time and, you know, you're busy. That's all.
You know,
Well, I'm with Colleen. I'm in Ringwood.
Just stay straight ahead. So that's why I
Oh,
use
okay, all right.
Paula,
like
didn't you have something a while ago? It was like a red thing that said, stop, I'm prospecting.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. So here's the thing. In any office, you know, there are areas where you can go to be away from those people. And you know what? The more people that just rise above that and move off to the side, they will see that. And then you'll become a mentor for that person to show that you want to work, that you're there to work. Maybe they're doing what they're doing and not working, and you're getting distracted with them because they don't know what to do. You know, maybe you start something where you start talking with them and say, you know what? I just found this new program, or I just learned this, or maybe you can help me with this, or I don't know, maybe the thought process in the office is just not at a higher level. Maybe you can bring that to a higher level.
You're an amazing agent, Phyllis. You be the role model and just say, listen, you know, I've delegated the next 2 hours to prospecting. I'm going to go over to this corner and you could either, you know, do it with me, or I need to stay in my lane.
So there's a book called Fierce Conversations, but you can have like a fierce sentence, right? You can say, I so appreciate you coming over and sharing that with me. However, I'm happy to talk to you in a couple of hours, but I just have to keep my head here. So there's just a nice way to say it. And then you may, just like Orly and Paula said, they'll think, oh, I guess maybe I should be doing that also. So it's all, everything kind of rolls together when that happens.
I don't know if you ladies know
stuff in our
Phyllis or not, she's not she's new to us, but not new to real estate, and she's been just a breath of constant positivity in every meeting she's in or chat room she's in. She fits in this club with you guys. I think we need to be doing a Zoom session with Phyllis coming up soon. So thank you for joining and thank you for asking questions. And
She's Al. I have to.
It looks like it's Susan Greenbaum has a question.
I know it's not a question. It's about Phyllis. She's my coach. And I got to tell you, this woman I've taken bold, I've done all these things, and I had a really, really great year. But the tools that this woman has given me in the past 60 days, I would say, she has really drummed into me things that you got to put it in a box. You got to do this. You got to put it on the whiteboard. You got to write things down. You can't have a lot of papers all around you. Write it down, keep it in your bold planner, and keep going. And I talk to her every single day. I'm annoying, I know that, Phyllis, but she is got me on a track of success for this year.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Susan. I think everyone here is busy, especially the three ladies that we've been speaking to. So I think it's time to wrap it up. Orly, Paula, Cheryl, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time. There's a ton of positive feedback. I don't know if you've been reading the chat, but everybody's saying how amazing this was and how much they got out of this session. And that includes me. I really appreciate your time. I learned a lot today and thank you so much.
Our pleasure.
Thank
Yes,
you.
and thank you for having us.
Thank
Have a
you,
great
ladies.
weekend, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.